pleasure to welcome the winner of the 2017 Dell Technologies Championship, Justin Thomas, to the interview room here. Justin, just an unbelievable day out there. Great playing, 5 under 66 for you. Moved to number 2 in the FedEx Cup standings. So just open up with some general comments on the day.
Yeah, it was a good day. It was a patient day. It was a lot more difficult. I felt like that back 9, man. The front 9 was a shootout. I knew that Jordan, I thought he was 2 under through 2 or 3 under through 3, and then I got up there and saw he was 4 under through 3, and then I saw he birdied 4. So, I mean, to be 5 under through 4, I can't really draw up any better start than that. So it was a great week because I felt like I didn't have my best stuff at the start of the week, and that's something that I've just gotten so much better at, and I'm proud of myself probably more than anything. So it was a great win for Jimmy and I both for sure.
Awesome. All right, we'll go to open up for some questions. If you can just raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you.
I wonder if you can just, what sandwich was that on what hole was that?
13?
14. Whatever you made birdie.
14.
15, excuse me.
Yeah, 15. That was a gap wedge. I had a 144 hole. We're trying to land at about 139, 140 because we figured that downwind, even as soft as the greens were, if it lands in that downslope. And I just pulled a gap wedge, and we tried to hit about a 118, 120 shot. So,
but of all the birdies and eagles out there today, that par save on 16 was probably as big as any.
It was, and I hit some good shots today, but I definitely didn't hit it great by any means. And I had struggled missing a couple left, and obviously left isn't ideal on 16. And all of the ones I missed left, I was trying to knock them down, and that's what I need to do with that 9-iron on 16. So I just it was a really that when it's crossing, pretty much straight cross, it's a really tough wind because it can switch at any moment and ball can balloon, and coming up short there obviously is an option. So that was it was close to being good if I just would have turned it a little bit, but that putt was one of the best ones I made this week.
What kind of drop did you get? What kind of lie did you have before the drop?
It was okay. I mean, it wasn't great, but the thing about those shots is when you have to, I mean, you only have to fly them 6 feet in front of you, and they're downhill. If they're not sitting good, at least in this ryegrass, when it's Bermuda, it's tough. But I don't mind those too much. I mean, I grew up in this grass, and I know if I just kind of, as long as I keep the acceleration up and open the face, it should pop up and land soft. But I was standing on a sprinkler head, so I got a drop from that, and then I was able to drop it in a down grain patch, which I really didn't hit that great of a chip. I felt like I could have done better, but I just was trying to get it around the hole.
Yeah.
The crowds were really into it today, and as you were going through with Mark, he's making birdies. Obviously, Jordan's ahead of you doing what he was doing. What specifically are you and your caddy working on to keep yourself in the moment, not get wrapped up? You talked about maintaining your patience. What are you doing to maintain your patience?
Just playing golf. I know that's very cliche and probably not what you're looking for, but it's, I mean, it really is all it is. We're just trying to play every hole the best we can, trying to make as many birdies as we can and get the ball in the fairway, because as soft as the greens were, and there were some accessible pins, there were some tough ones, but there were just some holes where you need to try to make par on, try to get past it, and then other holes where if you put it in the fairway, you could attack, and that's all we try to do.
Not just play golf?
Maybe. I probably tried to play more kind of like what the other guys were doing. I probably would have gotten flustered, like, wow, Jordan's feeling it today, or Leash is really, really on fire. And I mean, that's the thing. I was 2 under through 4. I got off to a pretty good start, and it was like I wasn't even there, which I don't know if it worked out to my advantage or what, but it just kind of helped with me staying patient all day.
Here and then Jason.
1 win all of last year. Now you have 5, including a major championship. Can you talk about this explosion of wins that you've had and all the records that you've attained along the way? And will there be some celebration, now?
I mean, we still have 2 events left, and I mean, I'm probably more excited than anything to get home and see one of my roommates, Tom Lovelady, who just got his PGA Tour card. He gets home Tuesday night, and we're gonna have a little dinner, celebrate on Wednesday, and I'm more excited to see him and just tell him congrats than I am to celebrate my own victory. And it's obviously been a great year thus far, but it's you don't want to say it's nothing, but I'm in a great opportunity to finish this thing off and win the FedEx Cup. But there's a lot of other great players that are playing great golf, so I just need to go home and get rested next week and get feeling fresh to play these last 2 events well.
Thank you. Just right behind you, Jason.
Justin, in junior golf and collegiate golf, you and Jordan, your career paths kind of mirrored each other. Once he got out here, obviously he got to a pretty good head start. Was there ever a sense of jealousy from you? Was there ever a sense of trying to play catch-up?
Definitely jealousy. I still get jealous. I mean, anytime any of my friends win and I don't, I'm extremely happy for them. I'm pumped for them. I'm excited, but I'm jealous. I mean, I wish I had 3 majors right now. I mean, I'm obviously pleased with 1, but I wish I had 3. And I wish that I hold out a bunker shot at Travelers to win, whatever. I mean, and the same works for, I'm sure, them with me. It's a weird little kind of thing, but we're all excited and happy for each other. But like I told you, it definitely puts a little bit of fire in. I felt like I was getting behind, but at the same time I was just starting, and I can only do as much as I could do. And I definitely, you can't say that I saw this coming. It's not like I was like, yeah, I know I'm going to win 5 or 6 times this year, but I felt like I had the game and capability to. It just was a matter of it happening and, everything working out.
Does being around those guys and knowing their games, knowing how your game stacks up, has that pushed you to this level, do you think?
Probably. I think we've kind of pushed each other at every level. In college we did, and in amateur golf we did. I mean, we're always competing, whether it was, we want to be at the top of the Rolex rankings in junior golf, when we're 15 or 16. We want to be, we want to be the low junior golfer at the U.S. Amateur. We want to make the cut as an amateur in a tour event. We want to win College Player of the Year, and we want to lead our team, scoring average, whatever it is. We're always competing, and we always have. It's just now we're at the top level that you can get, and our competing is it's really cool. It really is. I mean, the fact that Jordan and I finished 1-2 this week. I guess we've done that a couple times now, and it's been a fun year competing for sure.
Bill.
Justin, in your gut, do you feel you're the best golfer in the world? And if
I'm
so,
not answering that. That's only asking for trouble.
well, when did you allow yourself to think you belonged in the conversation?
I don't think I really belonged in the. Well, I guess I should ask what conversation.
The conversation of being among the best in the world.
It's just such a vague question, I guess, because it's like, where are you saying the best in the world at the moment? Are you saying as a whole? I mean, my career stats, I'm not even remotely close to being the best. So it's like, I can never compare that. I have some of my best friends have won way more than I have and won more majors. So it's like, when you look at it that way, it's like, no. If you put our stats head to head throughout our career, it would say no. So I guess in that regard, I'm not, but I feel confident when I get in these situations like today or like I did at the PGA. I feel like I can get it done. I feel like I've proven that I can get it done. But it's just no one is the best in the world. It's really whoever is playing the best at that time. I mean, I know that's not what you're looking for at all, but it's just it really is a very broad, vague question. It's hard to answer.
Right here.
Justin, speaking of the rivalry with Jordan, this win essentially puts you in a heat with him for the FedEx Cup Playoff Championship. What is your mindset as you approach the next round?
Right now, I'm just worried about getting rest. I'm tired. I'm excited to go home and sleep in my own bed. It feels like I've been gone for so long. I guess it's been 2.5 weeks, but it was a lot of traveling. Had some media days and kind of took a trip beforehand, and then kind of took another trip in between here. So it was a lot of traveling for just 2.5 weeks. So that stuff wears on you. So I'm excited to go home and not touch a club for a couple of days and hang out with Tom and Bud and just enjoy Florida. Hopefully, I'm hoping this hurricane doesn't get us. Before I'm gonna go to Chicago a little early and hang out. My girlfriend lives there, so let's go there and play some golf courses, and then once that week comes, then I'll be hopefully ready to go.
Brian,
do you remember the first time you and Jordan kind of went head to head? Back in junior golf, and if so, what do you remember about it?
I remember it was the Walnut Creek, the Junior All-Star AJGA, and I just remember he came up and introduced himself on the range because we were in the final group, which I mean, is 14-year-olds. That doesn't happen very often, so I thought that was cool. And he beat me that day. I think I finished third-ish or something. I don't know. Second. I don't know. I didn't play very well, but that was kind of the first. That was the first time we'd met, and then shortly after that, we went to France and played for Team USA. So that's kind of when we got closer.
And secondly, what's the difference between you now compared to, say, 2 years ago, other than a bunch of?
I'm a lot better at golf. I think I'm stronger. I'm in better shape. I'm way more mentally tough. Things don't affect me as much. I mean, I'm still fiery. I still get angry. That's just my personality, my character. That will probably never change. But in terms of letting it roll over into the next shot, I feel like I'm way better at that. And I mean, I only had 2 bogeys this week, which is, I mean, I'm probably just as proud of that as I am winning. And one of them was a 3-putt, and then just a god-awful iron shot today on 11. So I really could have gone 72 holes without a bogey this week, and that's kind of I guess you could say, a testimony to where my game's at or the control that I have. And I just feel like my short game is giving me the opportunity to do that when it probably would not have been able to.
Alex, and then Dan and Doug.
Justin, did you feel early on in your career that you were overwhelmed at times when you were in these situations?
Yeah, it just was tough. I mean, I was nervous today. I was more nervous today than I was at the PGA. It was weird as it sounds or is. I caught myself having a lot of deep breaths and just a lot of, kind of staying in the moment. It was tough. The crowds out here were crazy. It's a big golf tournament. It's a great field. I mean, everyone was kind of firing, or at least us three, between Jordan, Leash, and I were once the back nine came, it was kind of a 3-person race, and I was nervous today, but definitely in the beginning of my career, I mean, all of 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago on tour, it just was. I think I forced things. I tried to win the tournament as opposed to let it happen. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to win the tournament now, but I'm more so just kind of letting the birdies happen, letting the pars happen, as opposed to I stand on the tee like I have to birdie this hole, I have to hit here, I have to. He's up there, he did that, I have to do this. Whereas it's like, look, all I'm going to do is play the hole the best I can, and if I make birdie, great. If I don't, then I'll just try to birdie the next hole. It's not like it's the end of the world. So I think I just I learned from that because I was probably impatient when I started.
And could you explain the tee shot on 4 was the result, the intended consequence?
For today? Yeah. Well, it's a bad yardage for me. It really is, because a 3 into the wind, I can't get 3 wood there, and if I get it kind of ballooning and cutting, it's going to go in those 2 bunkers, which is bad. And then driver's way too much club. So I teed it really low today. I was just trying to get it up in the upslope of the bunker, and it was an easy up and down, and I just murdered it. I hit it so hard, and I saw it landed right in the face of the grass. I saw it land in the grass and just popped up and went down. So that was definitely a bonus. Yeah, the young eyes can see well, Doug.
I was curious about the picture of you and Jordan. You're like teenagers. It looks like you're teammates. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was when we were in France.
It's in France. Are you eating a hamburger there?
I'm eating they didn't have, the food wasn't great in France. I couldn't find very much to eat at that time. And I still don't know what was on these sandwiches, but I ate them the entire week. I think it was like a cheese sandwich, and I just ate them the entire week, so that's what it was.
Do you know who took it? Who shot the picture?
I have no idea.
I don't have record or memory, so bear with me. But first of all, at that Evian tournament, were you not low American, and did Jordan not caddy for you the next day?
He did, yeah. I finished second in the men's, and then first for Americans, and then the low 3 juniors got to play with Julie Inkster in a pro-am, and I don't know what Jordan finished, but he came out and caddy for me the next day. He wasn't a very good caddy, I don't think.
Secondly, you talk about this happening before. I can't recall a time where either he finished second to you or you finished second to him, without bringing up Riviera or anything. But
yeah, well, Sony, I think, or Kapalua maybe.
He was third.
That was a
runaway anyway. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess not then.
The one thing, and again, I don't have your record in front of me, but it seems like to me that you haven't had a lot of runner-ups where you've contended and finished second or third. That when you're there, you're usually winning, whether it's Malaysia or Hawaii or wherever. Is that one thing, do you think, that's been missing? And you kind of alluded to it from the standpoint of maybe not having your best stuff, but still scoring out of it. to contend.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I think the reason I don't maybe have any runner-ups, I mean, obviously it's easy to do so if you're around the hunt. I mean, there's only one, so if the other person beats you, then he beats you. But my rookie year, I mean, I had a couple of good chances to win tournaments to where I made a big number late, or I just had a bad Sunday to where if I just play decent or don't make double bogey on the 16th hole and career or what in Humana at the time, then I'd have a good chance to win the tournament. So maybe I finished second there. So it's something that I feel like a couple of those thirds or a couple of those like fifth, sixth to eights or something, those could have been great opportunities to finish second. But
the last couple of years, there don't seem to be many of those occasions.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm comfortable when I get there. I enjoy it, and I love winning. I enjoy that rush and just the satisfaction of beating everybody that week. And yeah, I mean, I know it's going to happen, I'm sure, plenty of times in my career where I'm not the one that's sitting up here, getting interviewed. But it is what it is, and I'm just trying to ride this wave while I can.
Right here, one or two more guys.
Justin, can you speak to over here to your right, the comebacker at 12? Just how big that was for you, considering it was coming off for your, the only bogey since Friday, and then what you saw at 13 and what you hit into it from 125 rough.
Yeah, 12 was. I mean, if you would have told me when I was sitting here on Thursday that I played that whole 1 under for the week, I would have been ecstatic. And I hit a great drive there today, and I hit it right into a divot, and I'm like, I don't know if it was karma for going down the wrong fairway or what, but it just, I'd been going down that fairway all week, but with that pin back right, I mean, it was perfect. I had such a great angle. I just had to kind of get it going down that hill, and I mean, again, I'm just trying to make par. So being in the divot made it a little tougher, but I hit it probably one of my better swings or best swings of the day there. And I really still don't know how it didn't get closer. I mean, it was going down that hill, and it just kind of stopped, and it's especially as fast as my first putt was. I mean, I was trying to dive that in, and I hit it 5 or 6 feet past. So, looking at that, it's hard to believe my second shot doesn't keep going. But especially after I saw Jordan bogey 12, Leash just bogey 12, so I knew that I think that would have kept me tied for the lead. And then 13, I just had a horrendous lie. It was a lot of down grain over there, and I somehow just found this kind of nest just going everywhere, and the greens being soft helped me out for sure. We had 98 front. What was that pin on? I forget what the pin was on, but it was around 124, 125, and I just kind of put a sand wedge back in my stance, and I'm like, look, just try to get this on the green, and if it gets on, it'll at least roll down into the bowl, maybe roll up there, and it came out nicely and landed soft, and it almost went in. So it was that's just one of those things you hope it comes out like that. So that was nice.
Yeah. One more, Doug? Yeah. Wrap it up.
Especially after winning the PGA, and especially even now after winning this one, it would seem like it would be easy to lose some hunger. How do you keep it? I mean, it sounds like you're ready to win the next one. Is it not at all hard to avoid getting complacent?
It definitely is. I don't think I'm close to being at that point, but I remember at college, that's why I left early. I went back my sophomore year after having winning 4 times my freshman year, player of the year, all that stuff, and I came back, and it wasn't the same. I wasn't as motivated. I wasn't as excited to go to the tournaments. I mean, when I got there, I obviously wanted to compete for the team and play well, but it was different, and this is obviously a lot different level, so I wouldn't think that I would feel that same way. But yeah, it's I think I've just gotten a lot better with my off time to take time off. That way, when it is time to get back into it, I'm hungry, I'm ready, and I don't like when my friends beat me. I don't like when people beat me. So I'm putting in work to hopefully beat all them. So at least for now, I get what you're saying, but I don't think it'll hopefully ever happen. But